Joey Barton has always been a combustible figure, I understand. On the pitch, he was notorious for violence and indiscipline. Now in the courts, he's become a case study in the boundaries of lawful expression. His conviction at Liverpool Crown Court today illustrates a stark lesson for this digital age. The right to speak freely doesn't include the right to destroy reputations, endanger families, or incite a mob. And between January and March 2024, Barton used his 2.7 million followers on Twitter, X, to launch crude and menacing attacks on three public figures, the broadcaster Jeremy Vine and football pundits Lucy Ward and Eni Aluko. He targeted Ward and Aluko with misogynistic abuse, comparing them to serial killers Fred and Rose West, even superimposing their faces onto a photograph of the murderers. In Aluko's case, the attack carried a racial edge, reducing her achievements to box ticking, insinuating she was on air only because of her skin colour, and Judge Andrew Meanery described those posts as part of a racially charged and sexist attack. Most disturbing was Barton's campaign against Jeremy Vine, by repeatedly calling him a big nonce. By telling the public to call the police if they saw him near a primary school, he created the false impression that Vine was a danger to children. In court, the judge captured the gravity. These were not attempts at satire nor robust criticism, but deliberate attempts to humiliate, distress, and stigmatise a man with an insinuation that could follow him for the rest of his life. It was a portrayal designed to lodge a poisonous doubt in the minds of strangers, and the effect on Vine was profound. He's spoken of fear for his daughters, of monitoring his daily routine in case someone who believed the lies confronted him violently. This is the multiplier effect of social media. When a figure with Barton's following directs hatred at a single individual, it only takes one deranged follower for threats to turn into physical harm. Vine's victim statement was painfully clear. His safety and his reputation were shaken by a man who feeds off the pain of others. And the same danger confronted Ward and Aluko. They were plunged into a vortex of online hostility. Ward described feeling constantly afraid. Aluko had to cancel engagements and hire security. Both suffered anxiety, humiliation, threats to their livelihoods. The pile-on became the punishment. Barton's defence was depressingly familiar. It was all free speech, a joke that got out of hand, yet the jury saw through that self-serving narrative. Free expression is vital to a healthy society, but it's never included the right to falsely accuse someone of paedophilia or to subject a woman to racially motivated character assassination. The judge put it simply: once communication crosses the line into targeted extreme abuse with intent to cause harm, it is no longer protected speech, it is a crime. And the sentence reflects that seriousness. Barton received 6 months in custody, suspended for 18 months, along with 200 hours of unpaid work, over £20,000 in prosecution costs, and restraining orders preventing him from naming his victims on any platform. The custodial threshold was met, the court said, but was suspended in the hope that Barton might finally accept responsibility. Time will tell whether he has the discipline or the humility to restrain himself. Jeremy Vine has said he fears Barton will keep offending until the day he dies. That pessimism is understandable. Barton has a long history of aggression, violent assaults, suspensions, and now online abuse escalated into criminality. His decision to cloak his behaviour in the language of free speech shows a troubling refusal to acknowledge the humanity of those he targets. But the legal precedent matters. This case sends a serious signal to those who fancy themselves fearless cultural warriors from behind a keyboard. The law is catching up with digital harassment. Platforms that allow influence to be weaponized are not a license to torment. Public figures do not forfeit their dignity or safety the moment they enter the spotlight. At its heart, this case is about accountability. Words online can ruin reputations, end careers, and place innocent people in danger. Barton pretended it was banter. The court recognised it as the vicious misuse of power. The suspended sentence stands as a warning. Should he or others continue to flood the public square with targeted hatred, consequences will follow. The real victory belongs to Vine, Ward, and Aluko, who refused to be bullied into silence. Their courage shows that the rule of law still protects civility, decency, and the basic expectation that public life can be conducted without fear. That is not censorship. It is the very condition of a civilized society.